What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the I'm Not Lucky, I'm Blessed podcast, the show where we celebrate young entrepreneurs on the achievement and then we inspire up-and-coming entrepreneurs on how to make profit using their passion. And as usual, I'm your host, Lucky the Most. Enjoy the show. Hey, guys, episode 112. Today, as usual, I have a special guest in the building. But before I introduce our special guest, if this is your first time, guys, listen to the podcast, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. So with that said, in this podcast, we believe that success leaves clues. And today I have a special guest here, an amazing friend of mine who is here to share his story with us, help inspire us to, be better, live a better life. He's like a brother to me. I'm part of his family now. I train him, his sister, his aunt, hopefully his mom and dad someday. Looking forward to that. Also, he's a CEO and a founder of an app called Oly, and an actor and a model from Andrew Wilson Agency. Bryant is here to just literally tell us his story, how he started and how he got to where he is today. So with that said, guys, help me welcome Bryant to the podcast.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
How you doing, Bryant?
Lovely, man.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Yeah, I love the shoes.
Appreciate it. I finally have the Nobles now that I'm not in the gym with you. Got on some respectable footwear.
I like them.
It's actually my go-to sneaker. One of my go-to sneakers.
One of your go-tos.
So, yeah.
Nice. Which is the second one?
I would probably say the Kobe Grinch 6.
Gotcha.
So bread ones.
Yep.
I feel like I wear them with everything. And I'm not big on matching these days. It's just kind of like whatever feels.
Whatever it feels, yeah.
And probably the Kobe Grinch 6. Those are my two that I'm kind of rotating.
Gotcha. That's dope.
Yeah.
How's your day been so far?
It's good. Getting back in the swing of things.
Okay.
First week back in the office.
Okay.
So it's been good. Just trying to get back into that groove of, being a slave to the computer, emails, being on top of it, being an employee.
Yep.
There's less challenges, that kind of want to get out of that rat race. But there's certain elements of it that I still do enjoy.
I feel you. And what have you done so far today?
Woke up. I prayed. That's key.
Gotcha.
Praying.
Gotcha.
Meditated for a little bit.
Okay.
Get still. Get the mind right. Have some time with the little one. That's always a blast.
Yeah.
And then got some work done.
I like that. How long is your morning routine? How long does it take?
I shoot to give it an hour.
An hour, yeah.
So I like waking up around the same time every day. I like waking up around like 5:30 to 6 for the most part, depending on what I did the night before. Kind of wake up. First thing I do, meditate. First thing I do, actually get some water in. That's
you drink water first?
Drink water first. Got to get the water in, meditate, pray. And then that's when I'm ready to kind of start my day. If I'm working out, you'll see me at the gym. At 7. But that's kind of my go-to.
That is dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I feel like when I rush into my day, it just doesn't. Yeah, like you got to win the morning.
Yes, you have to. And for me, it's like sometimes I might not be able to spend like an hour or doing all those stuff, but sometimes I learned how to even do it in 10 minutes. You get it, right?
Yep.
Like sometimes you might not have that hour to start your day. You could have just 10 minutes because you have to go to work. So it's like pray for like just a minute. Thank you Jesus for wake up, meditate, like try to do it in 10 minutes and then just head out of the house. It's better than nothing at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I feel like when I'm rushing in the morning, it just happens throughout my day, and I'm just like, I don't like that feeling of constantly just something your mind just racing.
Yeah.
I like being calm and
Interesting. Do you plan your day the night before that vid? Like, how do you plan your day?
Yep. So I use this app where I could just kind of go in, plug in all the things I need to do.
Gotcha.
And then from there, I feel like when you check things off, one, it makes you more efficient, but you also feel good. You feel accomplished.
What's the app called?
I can show you right now.
You sound like an app guy. You use app for a lot of things. You use app to lock your Instagram, right?
What'd you say?
You use an app to lock your Instagram, right?
No, I just delete the Instagram app.
Oh.
Yeah, so the app is called Todoist.
Todoist.
Yep, and I kind of just jump on there, plug in, what I need to do. And sometimes I add to it throughout the day, but I like checking things off because I feel like you can easily, get in this routine of just doing nothing or doing a few things a day, and then you feel like crap at the end of your day. So with the app, I'm like, all right, I did this. Even if it's something little, like, do your laundry or, clean up the kitchen, do the dishes real quick. Even little things like that, I'm just like it just feels rewarding where you start feeling more accomplished.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like if I have things to do and I don't write it out, like place them, I feel like I'm missing out. I'm missing something. But once I just write it out, now I can like slowly start.
Yeah.
Okay, doing it one at a time, taking it off, and just the fact that I write it down just makes me feel relaxed in the first place. You get right. Okay, now I have this organized. I can slowly now do them one at a time and then take it off.
And it's actionable. Like once you write it down, I feel like it's an actionable item now.
Yes.
And then there's nothing. I think we all been there where it's like you're about to go to bed, and it's like crap. I forgot to do this, and then it gets postponed to the next day.
Yep.
And then it gets postponed, and it's just like when it's in front of you, it's just like check. Yeah.
Quick question: what do you put like when you do your to-do list? Do you write everything down, or you write major stuff down?
I try to write everything down for the most part, just because like even if it's small,
yeah,
it's just like the fact that it's done. If it's, I'm not gonna go too small. Like I'm not gonna put brush my teeth or something like that. Like, there's certain things that you should just
you should just be doing automatically.
Yep.
But like if it's things that you don't do on the daily,
yeah,
then I'm definitely like let me add that to the list.
That is dope. That is dope. That's amazing, man. Thanks for sharing that.
For sure.
Your morning hack. I love it. So, can you introduce yourself to the listeners, please?
For sure.
Yeah.
So, actually, I'm going to change it. So, normally when I introduce myself, I say what I do.
Gotcha.
And I feel like what I do is not necessarily who I am.
Who you are, yeah.
So, for me, I am a person who's trying to figure it out right now. I'm at a point of life where I want more. I want to be more. I want to find the best version of myself.
Yeah.
And whether that's mentally, I think it starts mentally. I think the toughest men in the world, it's not physical strength, it's mental strength.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the challenge I'm trying to face. So I'm always looking for something, to kind of break through, find a new version of myself.
Version of yourself, yeah.
But I'm somebody who takes a lot of pride in being loyal, honest, accomplished, motivated, and there for people that I love.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. So like you said, you're someone who's always trying to break into new grounds. What are new grounds right now that you're trying to break into,
Yep. So right now it is fitness. So that's like one of the main things I'm really trying to break into, where it's like I'll be hot and cold with it. I always kind of stay in decent shape, but I kind of want to push through and kind of find I think everybody has an idea of like a body goal for them, right?
Yes.
Where it's just like, I want to get to that size, I want to get to that weight, or I want to get to that stamina, whatever it is. And that's something that I see vividly for myself, where it's like, I want to get to this weight, I want to get to this body type. So that's one of them. Other thing is probably the startup that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Trying to reach new heights in that, and that's been challenging, but it's been a good challenging because that needle doesn't move unless you move it.
Facts.
And then acting is another challenge. For me, I like being efficient, and a lot of people are like, no, acting takes time. Like you gotta put in the work. And I'm like, yeah, I get all that. But what is the most efficient way of doing this? Like, I'm not just gonna go wait in a line and say, okay, it's been 7 years. Do I get a shot at this movie? How do I skip this line? Who do I have to talk to? Who do I have to network with? Because a lot of it is who you really know,
Who
right?
you really know, yeah.
So, no, I'm not going to go wait in that line. I'm not like everybody else.
Bro, sometimes those lines, it never gets to you,
Yeah.
That's why you're at the bottom. You never at the bottom, how it's, or the end of the line, how is the worst place to be. So how do you, I can still let you go with the flow if you're.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so how do you skip that line?
For me, I do a lot of looking in the mirror, and I I tell myself all the time, like just affirmations, like you are Bryant Daye. You are not like anybody else. You are literally the master of like your destiny. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yeah. And I literally I get up and go. So even like last night, I want ChatGPT, like, what is the best way to become an actor? I'm already an actor, but I'm still looking for that information of like, okay, so do this. I'm like, okay, ChatGPT, create me a schedule on what I should do daily to become a better actor, so that when I'm in this position and I have that opportunity, I'm ready for it. So I've only been acting it's been a year and a half. Yeah. And literally, so just doing what I've been doing, I've surpassed a lot of people. I'm not bragging or anything. No. But I surpassed a lot of people
who kind of like wanted to be an actor at the same time.
Yeah.
Just because I believed in myself and I went and got it. And I just really made these opportunities for myself and just networking, reaching out, building relationships. And that's kind of how I landed my agent.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I came across this saying yesterday, a few days ago. It says, affirmations without discipline or action is confusion. Like, it's one thing to say something about yourself. I'm strong.
Right.
and powerful, and then go to bed and sleep. You get it, right?
Right.
Like, it never works like that.
No, it doesn't.
You get it, right? Like, you have to say I'm strong, and then maybe go to the gym and do something that puts you on that path of being strong.
Right.
You can't say I'm healthy. You say I'm healthy. I'm not fat. I'm not. You say all the good things about yourself,
Right.
and then go eat whatever you want. You get it, right?
Yep.
So whatever you say, you have to like walk towards that line. Take the discipline, the actions, and like you said, you look yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself who you are. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But you don't end there. Right. You still go online and ask. ChatGPT is like, how can I be the best actor? That's the funniest thing I'm like, wow, you can do that, and then create the schedule for you. You don't have to now stress, like, you're cutting corners there.
Yeah.
You get it, right? Like, you don't have to go and start thinking about what's the routine for an actor. Start thinking, no, ChatGPT just pulls it out for you, and now you just have to follow that routine.
Yeah.
Ain't that amazing?
Yeah, and it's even like little things, little hacks that I kind of picked up on. So I got booked for a shot with ESPN.
Yeah.
This was probably September last year, shot with them. And it was a new casting director for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do I stay in their good graces? And I'm just like, I'm sending them Starbucks gift cards. Send them Starbucks gift cards. Oh my God, thank you, Bryant. This is great. And now I have a relationship with them.
With him, yeah.
And they're a casting director. So anytime they send me something, they're just like, hey, Bryant, I think you'd be great for this. Send it in. And I have a relationship there. So if it's between me and somebody else or somebody, they might just be like, we worked with Bryant in the past.
Yep.
He's reliable. You can count on this guy. He's professional.
Yep.
You should go with Bryant. And little things like that help. And for me, it was, what, $10, $20? Like, yeah, like it might have really meant the world to them.
At that time, you know. Yeah.
And for me, it was just like, this is something that's going to help propel me in my career and a career I want to be in. So, like, why not?
Gotcha. Yeah. It's amazing. So, yeah, we're still talking about breaking new grounds. So, you're talking about the acting ground. You also told me about the app you're coming up with. Yeah, can we talk about, that and how you came up with this idea?
Yep. So, it kind of came to me. I like working at night. So, I work in the wee hours of the night.
Yes.
I'm like one of those guys who, like, my room's kind of dark and there's like motivational stuff. So above my bed, and there's this quote that says "Chase your dreams."
Yeah.
And then the left-hand corner of the wall says "The world is ours." And there's actually a Y there that says "The world is yours." And then I kind of like crossed out the Y.
Yeah.
And said ours, just because like there's a lot of people on this journey with me.
Facts.
We're trying to get to the next level.
Facts.
So I light my candle, throwing some music. Kind of get to it, and I started thinking to myself to like all the challenges I kind of face in life and a lot of the pain points that I had. And really, it was one thing that stuck out in particular, and that was like my junior year when I'm like playing basketball and there's no scouts in my game, and it hit me that this is not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to play at the collegiate level just because of the school I went to. Right? And I'm just like, how do we nip this problem in the bud so that no other kid has to give up on their dream, because I went through it and I know it sucked, right? So I was just like, it would be cool if we created an app that's kind of like a LinkedIn for sports, where kids can jump on, build out a professional profile, upload their highlights, their test scores, everything. And then recruiters kind of jump on the app and find that player, irrespective of where they are in the world or their parents' economic status. Because there's a lot of nepotism that people don't talk about in sports recruiting. And I think, with that whole celebrity scandal that kind of happened, that kind of got revealed a little bit. Yeah. But I was like, all right, we need to create this app. So I've been working on it for about a year and a half. One of the most challenging things I would definitely say I kind of like embarked on. Just because that needle does not move unless you move it. So if I'm not actively working on the app, no work is getting done. No work is getting done. Right? So I do have a team. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm still the captain of the ship. Yeah. Right? So it's the direction that I want to go in. Yes. And sometimes even with my team, it's like, all right, maybe we should do this. Maybe we shouldn't do that. So understanding that and understanding that, look, if you start something, you got to finish it. So those are the two journeys I'm on now, where it's just like, this is a lot, but we're gonna be successful. Make it happen. Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about the app a little bit. So, like, you had this mind-blowing idea, which is amazing. I think it's a beautiful idea.
Appreciate it.
Like LinkedIn for basketball. Is it just basketball players or any all sports? Yeah. And now people just, recruiters or scouts just go there and look at your skills, highlights, everything about you basically is right there that they need. So they don't even have to travel and go around looking for people. They just go on that app and
it's all in the palm of their hand.
Fucking dope idea. Yeah. But like, that's an amazing, like, when you came up with that idea, did you ever get people that said, that sounds stupid, like this is not gonna work? naysayers? Did you ever?
Not directly.
Directly, okay.
But the beauty of coming to certain people with an idea is, one, they're going to criticize it. Because most people are negative.
Yeah.
Right? You could either put people into two buckets. Those who think positive about everything and those who think negative for the most part about everything. And initially, close circle, they were like, love it. Then when I started going to the outside world, they also liked it, but they would critique it. Like, how is this going to work? But what about this? What about this? And that's extremely helpful when people do that, when they poke holes, because now you know how to like band-aid those things, right? And cover those things up. Be like, okay, but this is how we thought about that, solving that problem. And then they're like, okay, that makes sense. So I appreciated those negative people a little bit more than I appreciated the positive people, right? Because like your support system, they're gonna have your back regardless. But like once you can turn a non-believer into a believer, that's when you're like, we're on to something. So yeah.
That's amazing, man. So what was the first step? You came up with this app idea. Like, how did, like, do you remember the steps you've taken to this moment, the process, like how it's been? What have you done? What have you paid for? What level is the app right now?
So the first thing I did was actually run it by good friends of mine. I'm just like, hey, like, so I have a brother named Stan. Not blood brother, but I mean, blood wouldn't make us any closer. Then I have another brother named Henry, and I'm just like, guys, like, what do you guys think about this idea? You guys are both, former ball players, kind of went through a similar situation. And they were like, yo, we love it. That makes perfect sense. And then from there, I started thinking of all the additional features we can kind of add on to it. We're just like, okay, what if there's like, we include like pickup sports? What if we include, something where it's just like, you get kind of like a school community going? Or how about we take elements that like Discord has and make it like a group chat where if something's going on in Boston, like, Boston Hoops, let's say there's like a new basketball tournament or something going on, you kind of throw this into the app. Now everybody kind of knows, right? So kind of like different elements that we knew worked really well on different apps. So whether it was like Instagram's feed or Twitter's feed, how do we like incorporate this? Oh, LinkedIn, what do they do really well? They do recruiting extremely well. There's nobody who, does recruiting better than LinkedIn just because they have all this talent. So we kind of stole all those different elements. It was just like, all right, if we kind of pull all this together, then like, there's something here. We know this works. And especially with a startup or any business, a lot of it is market validation. How do you validate your idea? And for me, initially, when I started like talking to more people, that's how I kind of validated it. Was like, oh no, this works with LinkedIn. Oh, this works with Instagram. Oh, this works with such and such. So that's how I started validating a certain thing, because I was getting, some of that like negative feedback because they just didn't understand it. But that's where I started. I started with doing my homework and really just figuring out, how do we do this? And then I did a startup accelerator kind of with MIT. And that was helpful because that kind of like showed me, just different things like, okay, well, you gotta validate your market. You gotta understand your market. Who are your competitors? How big is your market? So really just started going to the drawing board, figuring it out. And then you learned a lot on the go. And a lot of nights on YouTube where you're like, what the fuck is this? What does this mean? How do I get past this? I mean, you just gotta become a student of the game and just soak up as much knowledge as you can and just keep having conversations.
Did you ever think this idea was too big for you?
No. I think if it was too big for me, I would have never came up with it. Like, it's not. This isn't just something I thought of.
Does it scare you?
Does it scare me?
Yeah. No, like scary way, but like just how big it is. Does it scare you?
Yes. It's intimidating. It's intimidating just because I see it on such a grand scale. And it's like, I say this, I'm the super positive one out of all my friends and the one who's kind of keeps everybody in line. So my brother Stan, he was just like, he's starting a startup as well. He's like, I can't wait. This is going to be like $1 million startup. I'm like,
you never.
$1 million? What is $1 million? Like, there's $1 billion companies. Apple's worth $1 trillion. Like, that exists. Why are we setting ourselves short? Like, $1 million? $1 million is not gonna be enough. Like, nah, bro. We got to aim higher. We got to change. We're talking generations now.
Yes.
So with Oly specifically, I'm like, this is a behemoth. This is big. And I'm a dreamer. And I just know it's all obtainable. And if it wasn't attainable, I would have never thought of any of it.
Facts. Why do you call it Oly?
So an Oly is somebody who's ever participated in the Olympics. So I wanted a name that encompassed all the sports.
All the sports.
Athletes.
Oh man, that is so wise.
Yeah, so that's how I came up with Oly. At first, it was called Fives because it was only going to be for basketball, and when you play basketball, it's 5-on-5.
Yeah.
But then we were like, we need to encompass all sports.
Yeah.
So that's how we transitioned to Oly. And I think Oly, when you think of like startups, it's always like a short word or something like that.
Two or three letters.
Like
Shouldn't
Uber,
be more than
something quick like that.
Yep.
You know, so all these different things. So I'm just like, Oly's kind of like short, sweet, gets to the point, and also has a meaning behind it.
Huge meaning.
Yeah. So
I like that, man.
Appreciate
That's dope.
it.
So, who's designing the app? Like, you got the idea. Like, how did you move to like the app developers? Like, how did you share the idea with them, and how are they building it?
Timing was right. So I actually had a friend of mine. Her name's Nat, and she was taking a UI and UX course. So she was all into like user interfaces and user experiences with apps, and she was like, I love it. And I was just like, all right, let's brainstorm. Like, well, let's think about what we like from different apps, and that's when we kind of went to like LinkedIn's app. I'm like, we like this, we like how this feels. Okay, let's go to Instagram. Like this app is ideally going to be for kids who are kind of in that 12 to 18 sweet spot for now. So what are they using? Oh, they're using Twitter, they're using TikTok, they're using Instagram. How about we give them something that has like that similar feel where it's not disrupting too much, where they can kind of get on it and kind of be on autopilot a little bit, So that's kind of how we started. But we also wanted it to have a different feel. We wanted it to be ours, right? We didn't want it to be specifically like, Instagram. But we're like, all right, let's take little elements that we know work. And then let's make it our own. Let's change let's have a certain color palette where it feels like it's sports. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So this idea, now you share it into the world, like, you okay with that? Like, have you done any trademark and all that on it? No,
I'm not even worried about any of that.
Gotcha.
So we haven't trademarked anything yet. But my whole thing is like, you got to put the work in.
You got to put the work in.
Like I'm not worried about somebody outworking me. Like, if you can outwork me, then like that, so be it. Run off, do your thing. But like, I already know the work I put in. So in order for you to catch up to where I'm at now, it's gonna take some work. Facts. So I'm already ahead of you. Yeah. A year plus. Yeah. So I mean, you could try. I mean, yeah.
What if some big company just comes and want to buy the app from you?
Right now?
Yeah. The idea and everything. Yeah. And like whatever you have, they just want to buy it. And would you sell it?
No.
No.
Why? I gotta see it through. And for me, it's like, depending on the number. Of course, it depends on the number. Yeah. Right. If it's a big enough multiple where I'm just like, okay.
It can still be part of it. You get it, right? Yeah. It can still be part of the growth. It's a child,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if the number was like life changing, okay, yes. But if somebody came and offered to buy it for like, we're not even generating cash right now. So really, like, what are you really buying?
But if they were like, we'll give you $5 million for it right now, I'd be like,
no, because I know I'm going to get more than that. Yeah. Right. And right now, it's not even really about the money. It's like, I want to change the lives of these kids, you know what I'm saying, and create that equality. So right now, it's not about money. Yeah. I mean, I think you should be rewarded for your labor once you get to that point. But right now, it's like, I'm not really, it's not what I'm focused on.
Okay. So what's the next step for the app?
Next step with the app is always next step. It's always business development, shaking hands, kissing babies, literally just trying to be friends with people who are heavy check writers. Yeah. People who are running the sports space. Yep. So I'm on LinkedIn reaching out to different like AAU coaches, different athletic directors at different schools, reaching out to AAU presidents, people who are like presidents of like different charter school leagues, and building those relationships and really understanding their pain points so that we can kind of, fill that void and correct those things where they're like, okay, we want to onboard our students. But that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. So we're also trying to get funding right now. So start building the app right now. We have a prototype that you can click through on Figma, but so you can kind of see how it feels. Yep. But we want to go into like, actually developing the app and onboarding.
That's dope, man. I was listening to this podcast. The guys who founded Shazam, they were saying how when they came up with the idea, a lot of people thought it was BS. Even investors, like they went to about like hundreds of investors. They told them that this is not gonna work. Yep. And now it's working. Like have you met investors? Because now you're looking for funding. Have you met anyone and have they told you, nah, we don't think this is gonna mean anything. You know, no's like, you know, have you heard the no's and how are you handling it?
Yep. So yes, I have heard no's from investors, and some of the no's have been through like startup accelerators, whether it's like Y Combinator, Visible Hands, Techstars, kind of like, you know, those bigger accelerators.
Yeah.
Talk to individual investors. It's not even no. It's more so they understand it, but they're like, I want to see some more validation. I want to see some more traction. Yeah. So they want to see me on board the groups of students and have like 1,000 people using the app, and actually using it efficiently before cutting that check. Yeah. And that's really all any investor wants to see, right? Yes. It's like, well, I want this to be validated before I invest in it. Unless it's like a life-changing idea, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something like that. Like Uber, I think everybody can look at Uber kind of initially and be like, okay, there's something here, right? Even with like Airbnb, it's like, this is interesting.
No, even like personally, I think it's a crazy idea. Like, I think these ideas are ideas that were at first. Imagine telling someone that. Imagine when we're kids, our mom and dad never let us ride in a stranger's car. Yeah. That you have no clue, or go to a stranger's house to sleep. You get it, right? Those are nuts. Like literally, you can't even imagine it. Like imagine saying, in the future, there's going to be a time where you would just get into someone else that you don't even know his car, and he's going to drop you because you feel secure. You'll be like, nah, that makes no sense. Exactly. Or strangers coming to your house and sleeping with you in the same apartment. People you don't even know.
Right.
Crazy, right? But what's happening? Those are the ideas that are making the most money. The craziest of all, making the most money. And that's how crazy your idea sounds too. Like that, you could just have a platform where kids can just show their talents. And it sounds unbelievable, but there is something there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And even like Jay, so my little cousin, he got recruited off of Twitter.
Really?
That's how he got recruited.
So if that can happen through Twitter, it means it can also happen through that app, like just a platform for it.
Yep.
That's a proof right there.
Yeah, but the problem is with that, so when he told me that, he was like, yeah, man, I got recruited off Twitter. I'm like, that's crazy to me. Because at the same time, like, these kids who are getting recruited off of Twitter and Instagram, it's like they're partying on their Instagram.
Like, you don't even see You don't see that professional side. You understand, right?
And as for adults, we're not, you know, getting recruited for jobs off of Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and these other platforms. We use LinkedIn. So why are we letting, you know, the leaders of tomorrow kind of get recruited in this light, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I was like, there needs to be like a sole platform where they can kind of be professional, but then also be kids on their Instagram, on their Twitters. Like,
let's take away Instagram. Let's you know, separate Instagram from Let's not mix Instagram and professional. So
that was like the main thing for me, because I know him. He's a knucklehead. He's a great kid. But at the end of the day, he's a knucklehead, right? So it's just like, you need like something, just a professional way to help you get recruited.
That is dope.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. No, honestly. And the fact that you've been there, okay, this is not someone else's experience. This is your experience.
Right.
It's enough validation. The fact that you suffered from it, you get it, right? Like that's all it takes. You for one person to suffer from something and say, you know what? If I suffered from this, there's someone that also suffered from it, and I can change.
Just the narrative.
The narrative of it, it's so amazing.
And then it's just equality. So like everybody is on one platform. And then it's just like there's different things like we think about. We're just like, we can add this to the app, right? Like to help get underrepresented athletes, you know, kind of get them some traction, kind of put them like a larger scale. And we do that by looking at different apps. So like what apps are selling? There's this app called Gas, and it's just video superlatives, right? And it's really just about, you know, boosting up your friends and like putting your friends on like a platform. That app sold for $30 million.
Are you serious?
$30 million. And if you look at the app, you're like, this is silly. But if you think about it, you're like, there's something there, because you look at who won the dunk competition, and it was a G League player. He wasn't even in the NBA. He was in the G League. But he kind of started trending through Instagram and all these different ways where he kind of got noticed. And they're like, oh, like, why don't you participate in the NBA dunk competition? So why don't we do the same things for kids who are in charter school leagues, right, who aren't getting those looks? We can kind of, you know, boost them up a little bit, right? Maybe using the same features that Gas did through like video superlatives, where it's like, okay, who has the best handles in the charter school league? And like students and different people who are like following this page can be like, this kid does. And now this kid who plays in a charter school is like, okay, maybe we should go play Division I basketball, right? And now colleges are looking at him. Now different recruiters are like, okay, this kid is somebody. So, yeah, we're just trying to get creative.
Oh, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Really dope. Really, really dope. So what are some of the biggest issues you're having right now? Challenges and, struggles. What are you struggling with right now in the process of, coming up with this app?
The biggest challenges are staying consistent. And I say that just because, like, it's not bearing fruit right now, right? So I can't see the fruit it's bearing, I should say. I know the work is there. I know, like, a lot of positive things are happening, it's growing. But it's like when it's not bearing fruit, that's when it's tough to stay consistent. So that's one of the things. The other thing I would say is getting the funding, right? So now I'm at a point now where it's like, do I just come out of pocket and start paying for this app myself because I believe in it?
Yeah.
Or do I want to keep waiting for, like, the perfect investor? And that's what it is. You have to make sure you're talking to, like, the right investor because not every investor is going to say yes. Some investors like, that's not my niche. I don't touch anything that's, like, in sports.
And no hard feelings,
No hard feelings. Don't take it personal. I'm just not your guy.
The minute knows you hear, the sooner you get to a yes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I just need one yes.
One yes.
I don't need a million of them.
No.
I just need one. So, yeah, I think those are the two things now. So getting the funding and then staying consistent when, you're not seeing the fruit actually sprouting.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite motivational speakers. He said something. He said, "Enthusiasm is hearing no, and still moving with a smile. Like going to the next door with a smile. You understand, right? Like you just keep hearing no, but you still like there is one yes waiting for me somewhere, and the more I can slash out this no's, the sooner I get to my yes."
Yep, agreed. Yeah. Like that's a life-changing thing about it, where it's just like you got to put in the no's are. Keep working. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The no's are you're not ready. That's it. Don't take it personal. You're not ready. Keep working. Keep mastering your craft.
Yeah.
And once you hear that yes, that means you're prepared. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how I look at it. Because even with acting, I hear a ton of no's. Right? Sometimes I don't even hear a no. I don't hear back.
Which is the worst.
That's even worse.
Just go blank on me.
Oh my gosh! Like I'm sitting there refreshing my inbox, like. Something, please. And just like you just don't hear anything. And I think I learned that very early on when I was trying to get into private equity. Heard a ton of no's. And me, I'm just like, I'll look you dead in the eye when you say no. I'm just like, you're gonna work for me one day.
Ooh.
You're gonna literally regret this decision of like not taking a chance on me. So
how do you make them regret the decision? Because like I said, it's easy to just say it and go to bed.
No, agreed. So even before I take a meeting or anything like that, so we'll flip back to like when I think I was like 22 at this time. I was like 22 trying to get into private equity. Yeah. And I went the untraditional route. So nothing about my career has been traditional, right? And honestly, I thought I was going to be a firefighter because that's a family business.
Gotcha.
And I'm the one who kind of broke that mold of like, you guys don't make enough. And my dad is the most successful person in the family.
Oh, man.
And I look him dead in the eye all the time.
You're still not enough.
Yeah, like you didn't set that bar high enough. Like you did well. I applaud you. You're great. You're a role model, but I'm going to surpass you. And being a firefighter is not, I just felt like I'd be selling myself short. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me break into business. And business being so vague, you're just like, what? There's so many different things you can do in business. Then I got introduced to VC. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then that's when I got in. After that, I got introduced to PE, and they're kind of like sister and brother, essentially. And then I just started networking. So I would jump on LinkedIn. I was like this little black kid going around to different private equity firms, different VC firms around Boston, Cambridge, and just like, hey, this introducing myself, having meetings with these like general partners, managing directors, anybody I could have a relationship with. And they were like, yeah, it's not likely. Like, you didn't go to Ivy League. You didn't do this. And I'm just like, yeah, that means nothing to me.
Facts.
That means nothing. But then I would also do my homework before. And I was like, how do I build camaraderie so that we actually have a personal relationship? So whenever I would walk into somebody's office, I would scan the room. For the most part, if you're in somebody's personal space, it tells you a lot about who they are, right? So when I walk in, I might see sports memorabilia. And I'm like, oh, this guy's a Red Sox fan. Hey, did you see the game last night? David Ortiz had a great game. Like, did you see that home run he hit? And then from there, it's kind of like the guard comes down.
That's the biggest one.
Right.
That's the biggest one. Yeah.
And now it's just a different conversation because now they're in like more of a relaxed space of just like, oh, we have something to connect on. You don't just want something from me, but we're actually building a relationship. And that's all every human kind of wants, right? Whenever you meet somebody, you're just like, oh, what music do you listen to? For example, the first time I think we were in the gym together, you're playing Afrobeats. And I'm just like, we're going to connect over Afrobeats, right?
Facts. Like,
and now we have a relationship. Like, yo, bro, listen to this song. And you're like, yo, did you hear this new song by Burna Boy?
Yeah.
So it's just like, there's like that relationship there where I'm just like, okay, like, I need to like do that when I go and meet these people, because not for nothing, not to bring race into it, I was the black kid going into like a predominantly white field. Right? So they're just like, okay, like, you're not, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? They're not saying that, but sometimes you kind of feel like that's just a stigma that comes with it when you walk into one of these offices, right? And I don't want to be looked at as a charity case. Like, no, I'm willing to work. Yes, like, I am literally just as good as anybody else in here, so, yeah.
I deserve a chance, you know?
Deserve a chance, and I got that chance. So I heard hundreds of no's, but then I got the yes, and I've been there for 7 years now.
Wow. It's dope, man. I have a question, but before I say this question, there's this book I'm reading right now. It's called Selling You.
Okay.
And the book it was by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Just talking about how, but this is a different one he wrote. And it's just amazing. Like, he says, we sell ourselves every day and we don't even know. And this is not just by selling, hey, buy this, buy this. When you go for a job interview, you're basically selling yourself, but you don't know. When you meet someone you're trying to date, you're selling yourself, but you don't even know. You get right? So, like, how do you sell you to the best way? And he talked a lot about most of the things you're talking about here, like, you know, building that relationship. You get right? School is one thing. You can go to school and get the certificate, but sometimes not the people with a certificate gets it. People with emotional intelligence that, you know, can go in there and send a gift card,
right?
A Starbucks gift card to someone and say, hey, $10. You know, that's what we miss. That's why we miss so many of the opportunities that you know, because they know everybody wants to take.
Right.
You get it, right? It's like marketing, for example. We know companies market because they want to take our money. So you don't even listen to them. You get it, right? It comes and you're like, we know what they want.
Right.
But there's something genuine about someone else saying, so, like, if I say, for example, I tell you, Bryant, have you tried this soap? It's so good, man. I love the fact that this. I've just sold you on that. You get it, right? But the company didn't even pay me to market it.
Right.
You get it, right? So, like, the untraditional way, and this untraditional way is just, could be sending a gift card, you know, the football game you talked about, like, all those little things are actually what wins those opportunities for us. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I'm at that stage where what I'm working on most, my skill is good, but I'm also working on how to sell myself to someone. You get it, right? Build relationship. Have a mastermind. So the book's just basically talk about, like, having a mastermind, building a good relationship, auto suggestion. You understand, right? Things that you tell yourself, how you're able to convince your subconscious mind to believe in an idea that you can make this happen. You get it, right?
Right.
Yeah, like, so powerful.
Nah, for sure. And it's funny, even like with selling yourself, like, before you even speak, you're selling yourself.
Before you even speak, you're selling
posture.
Yourself.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
And then when you open your mouth, that's when you tell the world who you are.
Yeah.
And that's when you really, like, that's when you're selling yourself for sure. Because if you come out and also knowing your environment, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you show up to a networking event, you probably shouldn't wear those ripped jeans.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You probably shouldn't wear,
you should have, you
know, maybe throw on like a nice pair of slacks, maybe a nice, just, you know, pair of pants. Really just how you present yourself, you're always selling yourself. So I think that's exactly it.
Yeah, it's just being conscious of it, and you were doing it without even knowing. You get it, right? But, like, it's amazing. So, like, what made you go the untraditional way in everything? Is this lack of resources, or you just felt like, you know, for example, I tell people your disadvantage is really your superpower. The fact that you didn't go to school is a superpower behind it.
Right.
If you can just know how to use that, you get, because people that go to school, they know one way, the school way. But you can build a different way that school didn't teach them, because school wouldn't teach you everything. You get it, right? There are way to deal with humans at school. School never taught us how to have a personal relationship with people. You get it, right? Public relation, how to deal with customers, people. Then we never learned any of that. But these are things that we learned from just our personal experiences. So the fact that you didn't go to school it's not a disadvantage. It's a superpower that you just need to know how to harness and use. And in your situation, I just want to know, like, the fact that you do things the untraditional way, was it something you didn't have, or you had it, but you're like, you know what, I just want to think outside the box?
I think it was a disadvantage at first, and then I kind of figured out what I wanted and how to take advantage of those things. Right. So for me, I get really inspired by people who are untraditional, right? So like the people who are like on my walls, like paintings that I have, are like Jay-Z, Nipsey Hussle, right? People like that who are kind of like those revolutionaries, kind of, right? They didn't fit a particular mold. Like Jay-Z, nobody wanted to give him a record deal. Now people look at him like, this is the greatest rapper of all time. Right? So it's just like those untraditional. You even look at Oprah. Right, so a lot of these success stories you kind of hear are from people who are untraditional, just because they're not following a mold. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go to school, I feel like school is very cookie cutter initially. And for me, I didn't want to go straight into school just because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So as soon as I graduated from high school, I did go to school. I went to UMass Boston. And I was there, and I was kind of like, school at first was, one, this is going to keep my parents off my back. Right, like, I'm in school, I'm doing something, I don't got to worry about paying rent, I'm in school, perfect. But then I was just like, I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money. Grades weren't good, and I was a smart kid. It was just that I wasn't interested. Right, I was just there, like, checking boxes. This is what everybody does after they graduate. And I think what forced me to be really untraditional was I was breaking a mold. My dad was like, fire department, that's what you're going to do. And I'm like, no.
I'm doing this way.
I want to go this way. And you know what I'm saying? He was just like, this formula works. Because he did well. My brother's a firefighter. My brother did well. And he's like, this works. Like, why are you not doing this? And I'm just like, it's not for me. I don't want to do that. Then once I came across private equity, it was like, okay, like, I'm not the traditional kid. I'm untraditional. So I grew up in the inner city. So, like, I know how to talk. I know how to get what I want, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gritty, you know, like, I had to fend for myself when I'm out hanging out with friends. So, like, taking that and then moving into, like, the business world, I was like, oh, there's a lot of, like, superpowers I have from being untraditional. Like, there's kids who came into, like, private equity just because, like, their parents were just like, I know the person at this firm, like, go intern, you'll be fine. For me, I had to do all the homework and all the legwork of, like, I don't know anybody. I have to make a name for myself. I have to go meet 100 people and hear 100 no's first before getting my first yes. So I think being untraditional is really what motivated me and what kind of gave me, like, that power to keep going, essentially. So you just gotta embrace it.
No. Like, for me, that's like, my biggest flex that I learned this year is that every disadvantage, that literally everything I can call that I can complain about is something I can be grateful for at the same time too.
For sure.
I'll give you an example. So have you ever, like, this is an example that I came up with a few days ago. Have you ever driven a car without an insurance before?
Of course, come on, man.
And have you ever driven a car with an insurance before?
Absolutely.
Don't you drive differently when you don't have insurance?
Of course.
You drive more careful, right?
For sure.
You don't want the police to pull you over. And then when you drive a car with the insurance, you drive however you want. That's literally life. Is the fact that you don't have the insurance, which is also a disadvantage, but you drive so careful that you still get to where you want to get to without the police or anyone. No accidents, no nothing. You could, like, drive a month without insurance and not have an accident. But you could, drive a month with an insurance and have an accident. So it's just, there's this thing about not having something that is just powerful. It's a moment to teach you how to make do of whatever you have. You get it, right? So when you have that insurance, you can now keep the same attitude that you had when you didn't have the insurance, you get it, right? And you would feel better and achieve a lot more than if you started with that insurance and
now you just appreciate it that much more.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, there's good in everything.
There's good in everything.
Even like when my friends call me, they're going through something traumatic. I'm like, there's a lesson learned in this.
Yeah.
Even like bad breakups, whatever it is, like there's a lesson learned in it. Like now you know what the red flags are, and like when it comes to relationships, your next one, just carry that over. So there's so much you learn with like things not going according to plan.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's good in everything.
I feel you.
Yeah, sometimes you have to take, step back
to like,
and be like, okay, lesson learned. But, yeah.
So how did you become this person that, decided to break the mold in your family? Like, become a trailblazer in your family. Like, you know what? I don't want to go the traditional way. Like, where is this coming from? Like,
I think it's just confidence. I'm a big shit talker. Like, like just being completely honest. Like, I think I'm the one who, I think my parents see it, and I think most of the family kind of sees it, where I'm like the one who's like in your face, like, I appreciate what you did, but I'm going to surpass everything you've ever done. And you can take that however you want to take it, or we can compete about this.
Yeah.
You can go and get more and keep pushing the goalpost. But I'm going to get to the goalpost eventually. And I just know, like, I want more for myself. So I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. You're not going to stop me from getting what I want. Like, I want to literally be the best version of myself. So that's why I was like, I can't do that following a mold. Yeah. Right? I could never do that being a firefighter. Right? It was just like, no, like, that's somebody else's footprint. I don't want to step there. Like, I want to go this way. I want to figure this out. What is life like over here? So that's really what it was. But then also having great examples and great role models also helps, right? And having a solid family foundation where it's just like, I count on my family for a lot of things. There's been like a lot of times when I was chasing this dream where it's just like, I don't got it right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. And being able to like lean on my sister, lean on my brother who was just like, yo, look, like, what would you do in this situation? Like, I'm trying to figure this out, but like, can I pick your brain a little bit on this? Like, what would you do? Having those resources. So it's not something I've ever done alone. I think having that solid foundation of people you can trust and count on to have your back.
That's huge.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
I feel you. So let's move into the acting.
Oh boy.
Acting and modeling. Like, how did you stumble upon that? Have you always wanted to be an actor or a model, or you just happened out of nowhere?
Again, I think everybody has like an idea of who they are, who they want to be. Yeah. I think growing up, I would hear it a lot. People like, oh, you should model. And I'm just like, no, I don't. Just because like whenever I thought about modeling, it was like Instagram or something like that, where like everybody's like, yeah, I'm a model, and it's just like, okay, like where? Oh, like, yeah, look at these pictures. I just like, that's not. Yes, that is modeling. I don't want to dim anybody's lights, but I always felt like modeling, it was just seen as like somebody taking a picture of you and posting that. I'm just like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't interest me. But then acting out of nowhere just was just like, once we shot that video, a promo video, I was like, something is here. Like, what is this? I can't stop thinking about it. I can't shake this. So I started taking acting classes. And
online?
Yep. So I took it online. It was with CP Casting in South Boston. And my acting teacher he was great. He was just like giving me sound advice and challenging me. I remember he had us act out something. He's like, hey, act out. You're waiting at the bus stop. You're running late. And like, you're in a rush to get somewhere. So like, you're a little antsy. So I'm like acting it out. And I like look at like a fake watch on my hand. He's like, hey, what time is it? I'm just like, what are you talking about? He's like, you just looked at your watch, right? What time is it? And I'm just like, oh, okay. Lesson learned. Like, if you're going to do something in acting, actually do it.
Do it, yeah.
Like, don't just be like, they're going to be like, yeah, there's no way you could see what time it was looking at your watch
looking
that
at your watch that way.
So there was like little, exactly looking at your watch, like, oh, shit. But yeah, there's like little things I kind of like picked up on. But acting for me was, I don't know, just it really caught my attention. And then looking at different actors, looking at like the young black actors who are coming up, the MBJs, the Damson Idris, the Daniel Kaluuya, just like on down those lists. It's just like, these guys are like inspiring me, like motivating me. And that's kind of where I'm at now. And I'm like, I'm DMing them now. Yeah. Now I'm like going through like Instagram.
Do you get any response back from them?
No. So I haven't got any responses yet.
But you just...
I keep shooting.
Yeah, I keep shooting, man.
I keep shooting.
One day, you say if you hang around the barber shop long enough, you might get a free haircut.
Yeah, Denzel.
Yep.
Yeah. So another actor.
Yep. Great one. Great one.
So I feel that 100%, and I'll even do things where it's like, I'll go on like Google and I'm like, famous actors from Boston, and I'm like, cool, we already have something in common. You're born in Boston too. Let me DM you saying that. Let me email you if I can find your email.
Yeah.
We'll see if I can find your agent.
Yeah.
Just start building those relationships. Yeah. So that's been helping a little bit. I've had some little success there, but again, all it takes is one. All right. It could damn well be Amari Hardwick. Like, oh, I saw your DM. You know, or even if I ran into him, seen him in person one time, I'm just like, hey man, I DM'd you asking this question. Oh really? Like, yeah. Oh, let me check it out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's so many ways just to get to that level and break through where it's like I'm trying everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And the fact that you your self-thought you get, right? Mm-hmm. How do you know what to do? Like, you know.
I don't. Like, for me, it's like I keep trying new things.
Trying new things.
Like, I'm going to sit with myself, think about it, and think of the most efficient way to do something. But I don't have it figured out. I don't have everything figured out, but I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there
because you don't just fold your hands and.
Yeah, no, I'm never gonna do that. And I think a lot of people don't know what step one is, which is fine. But just doing anything is step one, because you do one thing, it's either you're gonna learn something, or you're not gonna learn something, right? But most of the time, you learn something.
Most of the time, you learn something, and I feel like if you don't learn something, it's because you refuse to learn something.
Exactly. But then that's when the dots start connecting. The snowball effect happens. Like, you learn something, you're just like, oh, I didn't know that. And then, like, your brain connects it to something else. You're just like, oh, bet. Like, that's the next step. And then you just keep kind of going from there. Like, I didn't know how to build a startup. I didn't know how to get into acting, right? Like, I had a family member who was in it. I'm just like, hey, how do I do this? But, like, it was really me. It was me doing my own homework, me doing my own research, me creating, like, acting profiles and auditioning. And my first role I did it was a German war film.
I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, so it's on my Instagram, check it out. But it was a German war film, and I shot that. There was no speaking lines whatsoever. But I'm like, I need video reel, because that's one of the things I have to do to get an agent. And the audition, I remember going and auditioning. It was literally in like this small house, and it was towards the Cape. I walk in, a random ass house, like random. And I'm just like, this is how I die, literally. And audition, got the part. We were filming in, I forgot where it was. It was like Western Mass. It was like an hour and a half out, 2 hours. Yeah. And I was doing that every weekend for like probably about a month and a half. And I got the video reel I needed, right? And I'm just like, okay, I got video reel. What do I do next? And then from there, started connecting dots. And I'm like, okay, now I have video reel to upload to my profile. Oh, cool. Now people are reaching out to me to shoot a commercial. Now people are reaching out to me to like be in their film, just because they seen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they seen something. Now they had something to like hold their hat on to. Or hang their hat on to. So yeah, just things started connecting. And then from there it was like, did that film. That film actually ended up hitting 1 million views on YouTube. Are you serious? And I'm like, I never thought that would happen. And then even when I watch like myself on TV now, it's like, this is crazy, right? So yeah, the dots started connected. So that film went to a commercial I shot for Athletic Brewing, which is probably my favorite commercial, just because
it's on your IG too.
Yeah, that's on my Instagram too.
Yeah.
But the coolest part about that commercial in particular was, I'm a big UNC basketball fan. So that's my dad's favorite team.
Gotcha.
We have family from, a lot of our family's in North Carolina, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we were watching March Madness one day, and it was the UNC game. UNC was playing, it was like the Peacocks or somebody. It was like this small school in New Jersey that made it to the Elite Eight. And sitting there watching the game with my dad, just kind of chilling, and my commercial came on. During March Madness.
Oh, wow.
And like just a smile he had on his face. And I didn't know it was going to air during March Madness.
Really?
And it just aired, and it was just like, oh shit. Like, this is real. Like, I'm actually on TV right now. Like, this is, and it hasn't, at that point, I wasn't even a year in. So I'm like, I've reached a level of success that a lot of people don't get to just from staying consistent and trying to figure it out. So how much more am I leaving on the table? What if I go twice as hard? What commercial can I land then? And yeah,
that's amazing,
it's been
man. Good. Wow. Can imagine your dad when he saw that commercial of you.
Yeah, he was grinning.
I know.
He was.
Man,
I looked over.
That's my boy. He's like, I've never been on that. That's the whole point of breaking the mold in the family. You know, going a different path. So the acting is amazing. When you told your family that you wanted to go with this part, like, what was their reaction? And
with acting?
Yeah, being on your own, not going the firefighter route, but completely going a different route. How did they handle it?
I think they knew I was the outspoken, different one who didn't really care what anybody thought. So they were probably like, yeah, I know, I get it. Like my parents just kind of know, like, that's Bry. He's gonna do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Not a bad way, of course.
Yeah.
But I think they were just like, they knew, and they're just supportive of it. Like, yo, go ahead. And even when I send my mom stuff now, like, yeah, Mom, I just shot this commercial with Timberland. She's just like, what? Like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy.
She's so excited. And just seeing all my family be like that, seeing all my friends just be like so supportive. Like, I talk to like friends, they're just like, yo, like, you got to get to LA. Like, LA's waiting on you. And that's how I see it now. Now, like, it's so in my head, and like the way I'm manifesting is just, it's insane. Like, I auditioned for Good Burger 2. They're shooting it in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And before I even shot the audition, I'm literally laying in bed.
Imagining.
I'm like, okay, this is going to be my first trailer on a set. I'm like imagining like my name on like the trailer door.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I see this vivid. I even see the car like I want to be in when I'm in LA. Like,
that's what I'm talking about, like auto-suggestion. Basically, leaving an imprint on your subconscious mind.
Yep.
If you can leave it, if you can prove, like literally let your subconscious mind believe it,
yep,
bro, it's gonna make a way. It's gonna find a way to make it happen for you.
It's all obtainable.
And
that's the thing where it's just like, I'm such a dreamer where it's like, even energy, like I can't be around negative people. Like if I'm dreaming, let me dream. Like I don't want to hear how you gonna do that.
How you gonna do that? Yes.
No, I'm dreaming right now. I'm telling you I'm gonna be in LA. I'm telling you I'm gonna be a great actor. I'm telling you I'm gonna have a Porsche GT3 RS. Like I already saw myself driving it. Like I feel it. I know what this feels like. Like I'm downshifting in the car. Like when I'm manifesting,
it's happening, bro.
Yeah, like,
hands down. Like with the way you're describing it already, like
it's vivid.
It's vivid. It's happening.
Yeah, so I haven't thought of all the content I'm gonna get from like different shoots. I'm like, oh, when I shoot this, this is gonna be the new content. I'm gonna show somebody the whole process of auditioning. I'm gonna show you the bloopers of the audition.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you like the one that I ended up sending in. I'm going to show you me receiving the email talking about you're booked for this role.
Yes.
I'm going to show you in the trailer. Like I'm going to show myself in the trailer. I'm going to show you all of this is possible and how I got it done. Just because like inspiring is so big for me. Where it's just like, because I've been inspired by so many people that were like, oh, everything's possible. Like just set your intent and go get it.
Yes.
So like for me, it's like I want to do the same thing. And when people reach out to me like, yo, how do I get into acting? How do I do this? How do I do this with a startup? How do I get into private equity? I'm like, this is what works for me. This is what I would do. I would probably change this. Yeah. Knowing what I know now. But if you need anything, let me know. Reach out to me. Phone line's always open.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Dope. I love the fact that you talked about imagination. How you just sit there and imagine, like you lay on your bed and you literally see your future in front of you.
Yeah.
In a few moments, like, but you don't just see it. You live in that moment. That's the most powerful one. Yeah. There's a difference between thinking about it and acting like you are.
I'm there.
You're there. You understand, right? Performing like huge. Yeah. Like if you can get it to that point, it's impossible for it not to happen. Yeah. It's scary. Yeah. Being there, like seeing it, like, read about it, like so many examples, but it's just amazing, man. Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's
sick. It's funny because when I tell people who don't get it, they're just like, what?
What? Yeah. It sounds stupid.
You don't do that?
You don't do that?
Like, no. Like, what makes you think you can have a $200,000 car? What makes you think you can be, like, one of the best actors ever? What makes you think you can have a successful startup? Like, I'm like, what do you, like, why? Like, you don't think about yourself in that light? Like,
in that light.
What? And I can't relate to people like that.
Never. Nah,
yeah,
me too.
So for me,
so
it's
difficult,
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to think like that. Like, this is like, why are we here? Nobody knows. So like, I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna live.
Love it.
I'm gonna try everything.
Love it. So, I'm just curious. Like, how did you become this bra you are? Like, with the imagination, manifestation, positivity, everything. How is this possible? Like, what did you do to get to this point?
I'm very, very becoming. Actually, I feel like I've always been intentional.
Gotcha.
But now, this year, I'm so focused on setting my intent and being intentional with everything I do, everything I say, things I wear, like everything, even like what I consume. So for me, it's like I only want to consume positive things, right? And we consume a lot, and we don't even notice we're consuming a lot. Yeah. Like we'll be on Instagram scrolling, and it's like you just literally consumed 1,000 posts, and you don't think that's gonna influence you at all.
It does.
You're gonna sit there and listen to like rap
all day, and you think you're not gonna be.
You're not good. That's not
act like that. Yeah.
Like subconsciously, you're not gonna see somebody and like be on like guard.
Yeah.
Just because you've been listening to drug rap all day.
Yeah.
No, so for me, it's like I listen to positive things, right? I listen to people who have reached that new level.
Yeah.
Right. So like I mentioned before, like Jay-Z has been my favorite artist since I've been probably like 12.
Yeah.
So a lot of my thinking has kind of been shaped around things he's been saying.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z is in his 50s. I'm in my 30s. So like he's 20 years my senior. So me being 12, I'm listening to somebody 32 talking about their life experiences where it's just like I saw the world differently at an earlier age of like, yeah, that stuff, that's low hanging fruit. None of that matters. I'm going to go focus on this. You know what I mean? And I think I've always been like that where it's like, yo, you can get things done. And just having different role models in place, I think really would help me. So looking at my dad, understanding the sacrifices my dad made to get to the point, he's at, looking at my mom, looking at Jay-Z, looking at, family. And it's just like, I can do all of this. Like nobody's better. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody who's better than somebody else.
Bro.
It's like, what work did you put in? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Some people are gifted.
But
like,
yep.
freak genetics, right? But like, they still had to work. They still had to make sacrifices. So for me, it's like, okay, like discipline's important, and setting my intent is important, and being consistent is important. You do those three things, it's like, how can you lose? So, yeah.
Amazing, man. You talked about how Afrobeat kind of like built a relationship between us, but the most thing that built the relationship between us from my own aspect was when you told me you like David Goggins.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Yep, and we talked about the same books that just those mentally tough books you get, right? And we talked the moment you were on that lane, and you could see David Goggins as someone that is not insane, but someone who I like this guy. Yeah. I just knew there's no way that we can't get along because it's the same mindset I have. You get right?
Yep.
The David Goggins, Tim Groover, we talked about the same book, right? Relentless, and the fact that you've read that about, like, okay, this guy is there because not everyone has that mindset, and it's not something you go around telling people. You get right? You have to see it from them before you can share your who you are with them, because you can tell it to the wrong person and they would just completely dismiss you and make you feel some type of way about it. But you tell it to the right person, they even light you on fire even more. You understand, right? Like you leave their presence even more pumped to do more.
Right,
bro, fucking dope.
Yeah, even it's funny. I was actually talking to one of my mentors about David Goggins.
Yeah,
and he was just like, he's a good guy, but he just swears too much for me, and like he's just a little too aggressive. And I'm just like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like for me, it's like it's accountability.
Yeah.
Like I hate even with me, like let's say at work, let's say I mess up something at work or something like that, and like somebody's nice about it. They're like, hey, they talk to me like in a soft voice, like, hey, Bryant, like maybe you should. I'm like, fuck all that. Like,
tell me what it is.
What is it?
Let's
get to the point.
Like,
let's not beat around the bush.
What is it?
Yeah. And life is so simple, I think we really just make it complicated and a lot harder than it really has to be. Like, you know the formula for success.
Yep.
Are you willing to do what it takes to become successful?
Yep.
You know the formula for getting a six-pack.
Yep.
Are you willing to do what it takes for you to get a six-pack?
Yes.
It's not, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Nobody's ever going to reinvent the wheel. Like, I think for the most part, everything that, you know, is obtainable in life and, you know, you're able to do, somebody has kind of done it. There's a blueprint for it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, if you really want it, you're going to do it. And that's what David Goggins is all about. It's like, no, I'm not going to be nice to myself. I'm not going to comfort myself. I'm going to look myself in the mirror and say, you fucked up.
That's so powerful. And that's the thing about affirmations, like I told you about. A lot of people say nice things to themselves and go to bed. You get right?
Yeah.
David, I used to say nice things to myself. You get right? But now I'm at that stage where I'm okay telling myself, you fucked up, but you can get out of this. You get right?
Yeah.
It doesn't end with you fucked up, but there is a way out of this.
Right.
Accept the truth, because the Bible says the truth will set you free, right?
Right.
Don't lie. Don't look yourself in the mirror and lie to yourself and say you're beautiful when you know you're not.
Right.
You get right?
Right.
Say the facts. You are not beautiful, but how can I become beautiful? You get
right.
That is when you're speaking truth.
Yep.
But if you say you're beautiful, you're deceiving yourself.
Yeah.
You get it, right?
Nah,
and that's what David is. David doesn't have problem with anyone. He has problem with himself. He's like, I read about this guy to the point where I understood where he's coming from. That he's telling you, I am not special. You get it, right? I am the most, whatever you want to call me. But the truth is, like the other point, he's like, I have recordings of me saying negative things about myself, and I just play it on, and it lights me. You get it, right? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, yeah, we live in a world where almost everyone is just soft, but like that's the kind of life that sometimes you want to change.
Yep.
That's the level you have to get to, where you can look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the fact that you like some days I tell myself, you're a piece of shit, man. You're supposed to wake up at 5, but you didn't. You get it, right? Like, you feel good about it. Like, you have to call yourself on your wrongs, you understand, right?
For sure.
You blame others, but you never want to blame yourself. When it comes to yourself, you say nice things to yourself.
When people say that, it's like, look, man, like, you'll hold, like, if your employer tells you to be at work at 9 a.m., you're going to be at work at 9 a.m. But if you tell yourself, I'm going to be in the gym at 9 a.m.,
9 a.m., you don't do it.
It's like, you got to start operating, and I say this to my friends all the time, there's no such thing as tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
There's no
tomorrow doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
This whole planet could go up in flames right now. Tomorrow doesn't exist. It's not promised. Get this shit done today. And I'm that guy in my friend group where it's just like, don't tell me what your fucking dream is. And once you tell me what your dream is, I'm on your back. You're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate, because I'm gonna ask you, what did you do about this? What did you do about you haven't done anything. Oh, somebody else is doing that. Oh, this person's out working you right now.
For real.
Yeah, and I'm blunt. Like, my roommate, like, he's putting on some weight, and I just look at him like, yo, Stan, get your fat ass in the gym. Like, I'm not going to be nice about this.
Yeah, get your whatever, like, trying to make it. No, call it what it is, and
exactly,
that's the truth. Go now, fix yourself.
Yeah, but it's also motivational.
It's motivational
because like, I also text, like, I have a ton of female friends. I have a ton of male friends where I'm just texting them daily, like, you got this. Keep going.
Keep going. Yeah.
Like, you said you wanted to do this. How are we looking on this?
How are we looking on this?
Like, somebody will get a random. I'll be up working at like 2 a.m. 3 people might get text from me at 2 a.m. Like, yo, bro, that new line you just dropped for your clothing line, fire, bro. I see what you're doing. You did 150,000 in sales, bro. How do you get to 200,000? Let's figure that out. Let's figure out how to get you to that next level. Or it's like, yeah, I know you want to do this. Go through my LinkedIn, see if there's anybody that I'm connected with that I can, like, introduce you to, and we can kind of like get that ball moving for you. Like, I like being that guy for people like I love and appreciate, because their success is my success.
100%.
Like, I want to see my circle win. Like, I don't want to be the one at the top having, all the success, and like, that's not fun to me, right? Like, I want everybody to elevate with me, and if you're not elevating with me, then like, I have no problem leaving you behind. Like, I say to my friends all the time, like, when Oly gets to the point it needs to be at, and I'm ready to exit it, and kind of sell the company, or acting takes off, and I'm at that point where it's just like, there's a healthy amount of money in the bank, I'm not giving any of that money away. I don't believe in giving money away when you worked so hard for it and other people aren't working as hard, because it's like you're not entitled to that. If I won the lottery, yeah, that's different. Like, you know, like I didn't really have to do anything to get this money. Like, you know what, let me bless you, let me, you know, divide this. But when I sell Oly for, I don't want to say a number,
but
I'm not like, here you go,
here you go, because you're my friend, you know.
That's not the way it works.
That's not the way
I
it
worked.
works, yeah.
What were you doing? We have the same amount of hours in a day. Set your intent and execute.
And they would call you a bad friend, but really, that's
either you're going to be a bad
right
friend or you're going to be an enabler, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I'd rather be a bad friend than an enabler. Because if I do that and I give you $10 million, where it's just like, yo, you know, go ahead, do your thing. You never had $10 million before. What you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the $10 million, right? What are you going to do? Blow it, and then now we got to talk about like me giving you another five. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're gonna come back and say, "Oh, yo, can you still help me again?"
Exactly. Right.
Once you open that door, that little door, it's just they're gonna just
right.
Yep.
And of course, this is like a hypothetical, but it's just
situation.
like I believe that like we all have the same amount of hours in a day. We all need to be working, and being efficient with our time.
Facts.
And if I'm being more efficient with my time, that doesn't mean you're entitled to anything that I gross or I achieve just because, you know, you're my friend. Like, no, like, should have been working too.
Yeah. No, I respect that, man.
And I don't mean to be a jerk.
No. It is facts, man. No, sometimes the conversation goes that way where you get deep, you understand, right?
Yeah.
And at this moment, you don't even care what people think about you or anything. You know, you're just speaking facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I believe in like hard work.
Yep.
And that's the only way. Like some people might get hit with the lucky stick.
Yeah.
But that's not. You still gotta be prepared when you get hit with the lucky stick. So, yeah.
Oh, dope, man, dope. So, I came across one of your posts on Instagram. You said something. This is what you said. I'm gonna read it for you. You said, "May you live righteously and indulge in seeking your purpose over your pleasures. Shy away from chasing man-made things. They are the root of unhappiness. Invest in memories. Find love. Dare to fail, and don't die before you are buried." What does that mean?
So the first line is purpose over pleasures.
Yep.
I feel most of the time we know what we need to be doing, but we put our pleasures before our purpose. Whether that's like, it could be, I'll use me for an example. Sometimes like I know like, I was like, maybe I could work tonight, but I end up going out having a few drinks.
Yeah.
That's pleasure over purpose. It shouldn't be like that. You should be putting your purpose first. You know, what are you really made to do? Why are you trying to figure out why you're here, right? Working through that over just like pleasures, right? And you can even boil it down to like smaller things. I feel like there's a lot of people who are in a point of their life where they're not where they want to be financially. Except for when they get paid, they're like, you know what, I got to reward myself.
Yeah.
And now they're stuck in that cycle of like, of never escaping that financial freedom because like they're always spending money on feeling a temporary like void essentially. So that's kind of what I meant by that, the purpose over pleasures part. What was the next line?
And then you said, shy away from chasing man-made things. They are the root of unhappiness.
I think that's another play on the purpose over pleasures. Where it's just like we're always chasing man-made things and kind of keeping up with the Joneses. Like, you know, that status symbol of like, oh, I have on designer, oh, I have the latest this. That makes me cool. And it's like, no, like those things don't make you any happier. Just like me, like when I was younger, I used to be the craziest sneakerhead. And when I was buying like 4 pairs of sneakers a month. And as soon as I got those sneakers, I had them for 2 weeks.
Yep, we're thinking of the next one.
I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you work so hard to be like, as soon as I get this house, as soon as I get this. And then you get it, you're just like,
What else?
What's next? We're in like such a high consumption society where it's just like, we're always consuming, always buying these man-made things. We're even trading our time for man-made things. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, yo, those things really don't matter much. Like, they matter, don't get me wrong, but like, it's not everything. Let's not put so much emphasis on it.
So like, then you said, invest in memories, find love, dare to fail, and don't die before you are buried.
Invest in memories, experiences. what I'm saying? Not those man-made things. So like for me, it's like, let's say I'd rather spend $3,000 going on a trip, having the time of my life, than, I don't know, going and buying some designer that's $3,000, or kind of like, you know, spending that money elsewhere, just going out, you know, just different things.
Yeah.
It's like you can't ever take away that experience I had when I invest in, you know, that experience of like going out to embracing a new culture, and, you know what I'm saying, like that's in my mind. That's not a tangible item. You can't ever take that from me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I go and buy something with that $3,000, and like my house can burn down. That's gone. God forbid. Yeah. But like that's gone.
Yeah.
That memory, no matter where I go,
it's always
going to be with me.
With you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, why did you write this? Why did you write this saying? At what point in your life did you come to this realization? What did you go through? You know, what made you come to this realization?
It was that, and then I think the next line is find love?
Find love, dare to fail, and don't die before you're buried.
Yep. So the find love piece, and I'll get back to your question, but the find love piece was like, sometimes growing up in the city and growing up in Boston, it was always this idea like, oh, you're cuffing, you're doing this, like, oh, you actually like a girl. Yeah. And it's like, that's what matters, right? Like, love is what really matters. Like, everybody wants to feel loved and be loved. Yes. Like, why is it that like so many people are scared to like love somebody and care for somebody? And I get the hurt that can come with it, that vulnerability aspect, but like, that's what matters. Like, you ask me, there's nothing more beautiful than family and having your own family. Yeah. And hopefully I get to that point one day where it's just like, yo, like, I'm waking up to like my wife, you know what I'm saying? And it's Christmas, and like the kids are super excited to open gifts, and it's like, that has to be an amazing feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like, not living this lifestyle of just like sleeping around and all these, like, no, love. We need to focus on love and all those things. But yeah, that's where I was at with that one. And then what was the next line? Oh, don't die before you're buried. Yeah, that's another one where it's just like live. Like, so many people are like already dead
before they're buried, and
it's just like, how are you stuck in this routine of like you're not even enjoying life? Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I can't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it, where it's like people aren't even smiling. They're in like this routine of like, I wake up, I go to work, come home and watch some Netflix, and that's it. And it's like, what type of life is that? Like, that's not my idea. That can be your idea of fun, which is fine. Yeah. But like, that's not my idea. That's not living to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I want to go out. I want to try. I want to eat everything. Yeah. Like, I don't want to eat the same thing every day. Yeah. I don't want to be in this, like, even now, like, I'm in South Boston now, and I love it. But I even walk around my neighborhood sometimes. I'm just like, I got to get out of here. The world is such a big place. Like, I want to go live in LA for a little bit. And then I want to be like, oh, you know, I'm going to go live in London for a little bit. I want to see the world and like live and really, like, literally, I want to write a check to the world when I die. Like, that's literally what I want to do, where it's just like, I want to be tired from living. Like, I want to be able to live a life that is that righteous, where just like, when I die, I'm like, I took everything from, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gave this everything I had.
You sucked everything out of life.
Exactly. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. What's next?
I'm ready for the next phase of my life.
Exactly. Right? Like, what's next?
Not like trying to hold on to life before you. I don't want to die. I have so much to.
Yeah, like that price of regret is insane when you look at it. So I don't ever want to feel that. And I think when I wrote that piece, I was at a point in life where I was in a transition point.
Gotcha.
Where I was embarking on new things. Like, that's when the startup was just getting going. That's when acting was just starting getting going.
Yep.
And I was in a very comfortable situation in being in private equity, because I was in a field where I was like, I'm set. Like, I can put in my 20, 30 years and live a very good life. But I'm like, that's me leaving a lot on the table. Like, I can walk and chew gum. I can do multiple things. And if I only do this, I know that I'm going to look back and I'm going to be heartbroken, because it's like, there's so much more I wanted to do in my life. Yeah. And a lot of time people are like, don't you feel like you're doing too much? And I'm just like, sometimes. But like, at the end of the day, I'm happy. Like, I'm like, oh no, I made a new stride, a new breakthrough in this area of my life, in my acting career today. Then the next day, it might be private equity. Then the day after that, or 2 weeks down the line, it might be the startup. But like for me, it's like there's so much I want out of life, and I see life at such a grand scale where it's just I'm gonna go get everything. I want to be tired when I die. Like, I don't know how many times I could say that. Like, I want to be tired. Like, I want people to look at me and be like, yo, you had a good life.
You had a good life, man.
I did.
I love that, man.
Changed lives. It was amazing.
Love that. Ooh, coming to the end. What's one lesson that life has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life? You know, what's one thing you've taken out of life and that you want to pass to people out there?
I would probably say, I think one of my superpowers is I stay stoic and I stay calm, because I know this too shall pass.
Woo!
I know that no matter what you're going through, it's gonna pass. It's gonna suck today. It's gonna suck tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck a little less the third day, and the fourth day you just kind of like, it is what it is. Like, let's keep going.
I love that, man. Love that. I wish a lot of people could be aware of the sole fact that, you know, being stoic is a key part in life. And like you said, this too shall pass.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, do you listen to Mike Tyson's podcast?
No, I don't.
You should. Mike Tyson is one of the most transformed people that you could ever come across. You think about who he was.
Yep.
It was Iron Mike.
Like
the toughest person. Like even the things he would say to people, like, I will eat your children. Like, if anybody else said that, you'd be like, whoa, like, what's that? Mike Tyson, you're like, that was scary, right? But then you look at him now, and he's in such a blissful state where he's like transitioning. He's so enlightened and in this space of like, no, like, I'm figuring life out. He's calm now. He's more, more stoic, more grounded. And he said something. He was talking to Saquon Barkley, who's the running back for the Giants. And Saquon Barkley was talking about somebody crossing him, X, Y, and Z. And Mike Tyson was like, yeah, but when you let that happen and you hold that grudge, the devil wins. And when he said that, I was like, that's interesting. But then I thought about it. I'm like, when you let somebody else control your emotions, they control you.
They control you, basically.
They control you. Like, I know what to say to get you out of your character. There's nobody in this world that I think can get me out of my character, because I'm just going to look at you and just be like, cool. Unless you like physically do something to me physically, or somebody I love physically, that's different.
Even like, we should get to that point where even physically too, you can still, this guy, Marcus Aurelius, right?
Yep.
The Roman emperor. Like, he was that kind of person that literally, the same people that betrayed him, you get, right? He still, like, rewarded them because he understood that there was a reason why they did what they did. You understand, right? And sometimes if you're in their position, you might do the same thing too, Yeah, so like, just hearing things like that where it's just like, this is a new way of thinking, and like something that's gonna like open my mind. Open your mind,
all about it. But yeah,
that's amazing.
He said that, I was just like, whoa. Like, he says a lot of things that I'm just like, I never thought about it like that. And that was one of those that just stuck with me, where I'm just like, got it, noted.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's a beautiful lesson. Stay stoic and stay calm. Stay calm. I love it. I probably should write a shirt on. You should have a T-shirt with that saying "Stay stoic."
Nah, I'm not trying to add any more to my plate. I think I'm good with these three things.
Okay, and then what's a piece of advice you could give to the younger Bry, say 15 years Bry?
Yep.
With what you know now, what advice would you give to him if you could sit with him and tell him something?
I feel like there's different versions of myself where I would kind of give different advice.
Yeah.
Advice to Bry, the actor, would be, you can do it by yourself.
Wow.
You don't need a casting director. You don't need somebody to validate you and who you are.
Yep.
You can do it yourself. You can create your own content. You can do all these things by yourself. Acting is that simple. If you have a camera, you have a mic, you can act. You can put something together. It's that simple. Don't overthink it.
Damn, I wish I was recording. I wish I was making video. I love that. Whoa, you can do it yourself.
You can do it yourself, I think.
But it takes a lot to do it yourself. Like, I mean, you can tell basically my story, like right now, what's going on. Like, we've been to the camera like how many times to try to adjust it.
Yep. But everybody has a day one.
Everybody has a day one.
So it really doesn't matter. If you're day one, everybody has a day one. And nobody's day one is a beautiful thing. Yes, everybody has a day one. So I would say that's a Bry the actor. Bry the investor. I would say be you. Don't code switch. Be you.
Be you.
And I think sometimes when you walk in me being the only black guy in my firm, or me being in the room for an annual meeting, me being the only black guy, sometimes you feel like you got a code switch.
Yeah.
And it's not even being a sellout.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not saying I'm selling out, but it's just like sometimes like you act a little differently.
Yeah.
And I would say like it's okay to just be you and understand that you're supposed to be here.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like once you're the only person in the room of color,
you
sometimes you kind of feel like that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Or you'll feel like something else, and it's just like, oh, like you're a king, like you're God. Like
relax.
You're supposed to be here. You're prepared for this. And Bry, the startup founder, I would say, it's bigger than you. It'll always be bigger than you. You're not doing this for yourself. You're doing this to create equality for the youth. So keep that in mind. That's a bigger why than I could ever be. And there's people counting on you. There's a generation of kids counting on me to create equality and create opportunity for them. So, yeah.
Love it. And then, lastly, what advice do you have for my listeners?
For your listeners?
Yes.
Chase your dreams. Everything is obtainable. Manifest. Envision where you want to be in your life. Always stay positive. That's probably what I would say.
I love it, man. Love it.
Yeah. Let's see if I got any quotes in my notes that I can kind of give them.
Give us something.
Good quote. Let's see. I'm always writing.
No,
that inspire me.
Have to. Things that inspire you. Like, just from this conversation, I've written so many things. Like, everybody has a day one. That's huge, man.
You have to design. Like,
stay stoic and stay calm.
Like, for me, when I look at my life, I'm so intentional with everything. So, what I'm listening to. Like, I listen to, like, when it comes to rap, I'm listening to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Nipsey Hussle. I'm like, these are because I understand like what the subconscious is.
Bro.
It's like Jay-Z's talking about a point I want to get to business wise. Like, sure, people might not be in that state, but it's just like find things that inspire you and motivate you. Like my house, I'd rather die enormous than live dormant written on my wall. Just because like it's a quote I embody. Right. So those are just like I'm seeing that every day. So it's a constant reminder. Even if I'm not thinking it, I still see it. My brain is processing. Your brain's
processing it.
Right. So like I just know these things are kind of taking place. So build your space. It's for like good energy, motivation. Have your core circle. Like sometimes you got to cut people out, and if you don't want to get rid of them, just limit the conversations you have with them, and understand that. It's either you or them. Every time you pick up the phone,
you call,
or you call.
You're picking them over you.
You're picking them over you.
Facts.
And there's a lot of people, your generation, you know, your family generations counting on you. So, let's see. I know I got some heat in here. Let's see.
Okay, what are you looking for? What's your favorite quote? Like, best quote, your favorite?
My favorite quote. So the one that I've tatted on me, like on my ribs, is I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's a Jay-Z quote from Can I Live? One of his lyrics. So I'd probably say that's probably number one for me. Is
Gotcha.
Just because that's what I molded my life over. Like, it's just... I don't know. The first time I heard it, I was 12 years old.
Wow.
12 years old.
12 years old.
In the back of my uncle's car, right?
And he's just literally.
It just hit me. I was just like, I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it. I'm just like, okay. And I just kept saying it to myself. Like, I'd rather die. What does that mean? And then once I started like actually processing it and understanding, it's like, no, like your brain can be the most dormant thing that ever happened to, even in the gym. When we're in the gym and we're working out, and I quit on myself. There's times I can tell, like you looked at me, you're like, he gave up right there. And like for me, that's like a dormant way of thinking. Like you got to break through that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like that level of dormancy can be physical. You can be in an area that's keeping you dormant. It can be a mental thing. And it's like, no, I'd rather die enormous. I'd rather break through all of that and just live this righteous life that I'm supposed to live and be the best version of myself. That's number one. You know, I'm not even gonna try and think of another one. That's it.
That's it. I have something similar to that literally, like, it's from music too. Pusha T and Dreams. And the quote says, I'd rather die than go home. Bro, like it is, I would rather die than go back. I'd rather die than go back to where I come from. Like I'd rather die trying to get this thing I'm going for than go home. It's like once you make up your mind for that, it's like it's unstoppable. You understand, right? That quote, like the first day I heard it, I almost cried, like literally, because I could relate to this. Like, damn, I've come a long way. You understand, right? And like, you just want to go back home and just say, you know what, nothing happened, or like, you know, man, just literally make up your mind and just, if it doesn't happen, just die there.
That's exactly. And the thing is, you're never gonna die.
You're never gonna die. That's
you're never gonna die.
Never gonna die.
But once you accept the fact that I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and I'm exactly like you said, I'm willing to die for this. I think that's when you kind of break through. Izzy said it with his I forgot who he was fighting. It was a UFC fight, but Israel Adesanya. He was like, I'm ready to die. I'm prepared to die. And not to be super dark right now, but like that's what it takes. We're just like, I'm gonna give this my all. There's no failure is not an option. But quote I came across is, it's actually funny because it's in here with like relationship stuff, and I'm like thinking about like the most important things in relationships that I have. But it says, being realistic is the most common road traveled to mediocrity.
Being realistic. Yeah, let's be real. Nah.
I haven't had friends who are just like, I said it to, I forgot who I was talking to. I was like, yo, I'm going to make, it was some number.
Some number. Like, he's like, just be realistic, man.
Like, be realistic. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I felt offended. I was like, what
you don't believe me.
I felt, because I'm like, you wouldn't say that to Jay-Z. You wouldn't say that to, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't say that to like Robert Smith. You wouldn't say that to Jeff Bezos or Elon. So like, why are you saying this to me? Like, I was being realistic. Like, let's stop crapping on our friends' dreams.
Bro, for real. That's
be positive.
You be positive, man. If you don't know what to say, just say good luck. You know, don't say negative, because all those words affect people. Especially people that don't have that strong mentally strong to like block those words off. Those little things you say affects people. They crush dreams. You know, agreed. Like 100%.
Agreed. It's, and then you just look at them and you're just like, that has more to do with you than it has to do with me. You don't think you can do that.
Think you can do it,
That's what it is. You're putting what you believe, because you feel that way about yourself. You're gonna project it onto me. And that's not fair. Because
we're different.
We're different. I'm a dreamer. Like, if you can't do it, that's fine. You feel that way about yourself, but don't project it.
Don't project it on me. Yep. That's the word we live in. Most of the time, people tell you no, it's because they don't think they can. You get it, right? So they try to project it on you, but you just have to. So how can people reach out to you? You know,
you can reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is _Bdaye, BDAYE. That's the only social media platform I have right now. Right there. Okay. LinkedIn. I mean, anyone. Hit up Lucky, he'll connect you to me. Always want to have conversations. Always want to, build a network.
Yes, sir.
I might not be able to help you, but I might know somebody who might be able to help you. Yes,
sir, bro. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure
for coming on the podcast.
My man.
I look forward to having you again, man.
Let me know.
Great.
Do that at my house.
Great. Yeah, we'll do that at your crib.
Yep. See the artwork.
Yep. Great conversation. You like really amazing, guys. I was looking at the camera, but it's not
no, all good. They got me looking over there.
So, guys, we've heard it from Bryant. It's an amazing story, man. Like the fact that one man just decided to change the narrative of his family and say, you know what, I want to go a different route. And that's how most of the, successful people we have in the world are today. One man just say, you know what, enough is enough, man. I want something better for my generation. I want something better for my kids. I want something better for my life. I want to live that life. Like he said, his favorite quote is, I'd rather die than be a dormant, right?
I'd rather die enormous.
Yep, enormous then. Guys, that should be our goal for this week. That should be our goal for this month, Go out there. Don't try to be realistic, okay? If they say if your dreams don't scare you, then if your goals don't scare you, you literally just having. Is it your dreams or your goals? I'm trying to say if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. You get right? Yeah. Yes, you have to dream big enough. Dreams that scare you, scare your family, but don't just end there. Go out there and do what's needed. And like our brother said, everyone has a first day. The first step you might take might not be like. First step might not be properly might not even be related to your field or whatever you're doing. Like you don't even know what you're doing, but that is also step one. From there you can learn to do step two, and then from there you just keep going. Like the guy that just spoke to us is a guy that literally didn't have anything figured out, but as he was going, he was figuring things out. He was connecting the dots. Things were making sense. And that's how Bry got to where he is today. But trust me, Bry's going to be back. This is not the end of it. We're going to have Bry again. Hopefully, we'll do it at his crib. And Bry's still going to drop some juice for us. So, let's show some love. Go follow Bry and see how we can support him, okay? His next movie is coming out soon. Hopefully, by the end of that movie, I'm going to have him on the podcast. And we can all go to the movies and watch it together with Bry.
Hey, speaking into existence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Bry.
My man.
And guys, remain blessed. Peace.
Peace.
Yes.